Hi folks, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. You might have thought that I'd forgotten about continuing with my Taking the Mystery Out of Photography series, and I have been distracted by other things been happening over the last few weeks. However, today I just thought I'd do a simple little video, I hope it's simple, about a button that I explained to one of my friends recently who had a similar camera to mine. He had a Canon 600D. I'm going to be showing stuff on the Canon 700D today. But he was worried why his friends were showing him beautiful photos of the sunsets down at the beach. He lives not far from the beach, and he couldn't see why their photos were so good. Whenever he took a photo of the sunset down at the beach, they come out all washed out. And I said, well, it's a simple little trick. All you've got to do is use your exposure compensation button. If you've got your camera set onto P, program, like this one here, I'll just show you this camera here. Up here somewhere, you can see there it's set onto P. See, just alongside the that white button, dash on the left there, it's showing the camera is set on P for program. Up here is the ISO button. You can, just up under my finger there, you can change your ISO to put it on automatic, or you can change it into individual settings. I usually leave my camera on ISO on automatic most of the time, because then that will adjust the light according to the conditions that you're in. But the exposure compensation button is, where is it? Here it is. It's just there. See where just at the end of my finger there? That little plus or minus sign. On most digital cameras, you'll have that on there. And all you've got to do, if you want to change your exposure to underexposure or overexposure, which will adjust things for the prevailing lighting conditions, you just press that button. I'm going to press it now, and then, whoops, I can get over here. Up here, you'll be able to see, I'm trying to get rid of all those reflections. I've pressed it now. See how you can go backwards? That's underexposing. And then you go the other way, you're overexposing. And that's basically, you can, and then on the back of your screen, of course, you can see what you're doing. I'm just going to change this back to normal in the middle, 0. If you, you'll find that as you do that, if you're taking a photo of the sunset like he was, and he's loving his camera now because he's just learned this little trick, is that you, if you take a photo of the sunset and it's all washed out, well then just underexpose it a little bit using that button, wind it backwards to the minus area, and then see what effect you get. And then, of course, when you get a little bit smarter, when you're taking pictures of people and the background's wrong, you can change the background, but also you can fix the foreground by having a little bit of flash, little pop-up flash that comes into the photo as well. So I'm going to take this camera out now into the backyard. I'm going to put this little gadget that I got recently on top of my camera, and I'm going to wander around the backyard with my phone on there to take some shots as I adjust the exposure compensation button, and then I'll be able to show you what they look like afterwards. So I'm just going to cut the video here, and I'll go out and see if I can make this happen. Okay, so now here's a situation where we've got a combination of bright sky in the background and some foliage in the foreground. And we can take a photo of that. I can take a photo and see what that comes out like. It's not too bad, and I could probably adjust things on Photoshop. But now I'm going to just change the, wind back the exposure compensation button a bit. Just going to wind that back into the minus. And now we're going to take the shot and see what that looks like. And that's a lot darker now. Now I'm going to do it the other way around. I've got that set. Now I'll see what I get this time. And then this time, because I've pushed it forward a bit, I've actually got darker. I'm just having a look on the screen here. I've actually got not too bad. The sky, actually the cloud in the sky comes out how it looks to the naked eye, and a little bit more of a silhouette effect with the trees and the shrubbery. So that's just a simple way. You can just change things like that. Maybe we'll just come down here. So here we got a focus on that. Got a little bird bath there. Take a photo of that. And now what we'll do, we'll just wind back we'll underexpose it now using this exposure compensation button. I took that with it was way overexposed actually that time. Now we'll take it underexposed. I've just changed that. And now we'll work it back to normal, and we should get a reasonably normal photo now. Let's have a look there. That looks okay. There you go. Okay, so that's just how you use your exposure compensation button. I've got the camera set on program, and I've got the ISO set on automatic, and I leave those things there most of the time unless I want to finesse a little bit, but most of the time you can adjust things by using that exposure compensation button and winding it back or forth, or sometimes changing your metering too. That can help. But there you go. This is giving us a nice even exposure now, but I could actually change that. So I'll just stop recording there and we'll come back and finish this off. So these shots now are the actual slides that I took as I changed the exposure compensation, and I've got the information overlaid, as you can see there, on each of these to show you what actually happened when we did that exposure compensation, giving you the readings that we got there. Well, there you go. I hope you found that interesting. Just another little word about keeping it simple. One of the things they tell you when you get a new digital SLR or any other sort of digital camera, quite often their advice will be use the green button. You can see up here on the top there is a button next to the P. Try and come a bit closer. See that one next to the P? I'll just turn it on to the green button. See that one there? It's just showing now that green button there. Now that is supposed to fix everything pretty much, but it's really only designed to work your camera automatically in optimum conditions. It's a bit like in the old days when we used to use film cameras and they give you a film, and there'd be some directions inside the film box, and basically used to say have the sun over your shoulder, with the sun shining on your subject, point the camera in that direction and take the shot. Now that was designed in the days when cameras weren't very adjustable, and the film was actually designed to give you a good shot in optimum conditions with bright sunlight. Now the green button is a little bit like that. It's a bit more sophisticated, but it's really mainly designed to give you good options when you've got good lighting and good conditions. The P button, it does that, but it gives you a little bit more adjustment by using that exposure compensation button. So once you've mastered that, just start using that on your camera, no matter what sort of digital camera you've got, as long as it's got some adjustments on it, it's usually got an exposure compensation button on there where you can adjust it by moving dials or buttons on the back of your camera or on the top, and you can adjust it. So start playing around and try doing some shots of the sky and the sunsets when you go down the beach, changing that exposure compensation just a little bit, and then you'll start to get the hang of it. I've included, I hope I've been trying to put some pictures up here and giving some of the information, the actual information from the shots that I took in the backyard, showing you just what, changing those exposure compensations, just showing you what it was doing to the settings. I had my camera set on spot metering, which normally I don't have it on there. That's because I was doing something else the other day and I'd forgotten to turn it back. But normally in that situation there, I would have the camera set on program, use the exposure compensation button, ISO auto exposure, and I'd have the metering set onto average, and then see how you go from there. So I hope that's been useful. And once again, thanks for watching, and like if you like, and subscribe if you wish, and I'll see you next time.